Jeremy Doku is a City player. The 21-year-old Belgian international known as the Belgian Flash becomes the latest signing, the latest project for Pep Guardiola. Welcome back to another video. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Hopefully, this video will be informative. Loads of content on the treble winners here. Loads of stuff on a daily basis. Videos left, right and centre as we surf and make our way through the myriad of Manchester City news. Anyway, please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Today on the channel, we're talking about Mr. Jeremy Doku, the 21-year-old Belgian winger that City have just signed for around 50-odd million quid from Stade Rennes over in League One. Before that, of course, he was at Anderlecht. The Belgian winger, of course, been playing for Belgium for quite a while now. 2020, I think he made his debut. Played at the Euros as well. He's been around that squad for a bit. Known, of course, for his explosive dribbling and known something as a wild card as well. Still plenty to improve and still plenty to prove as well in football, but this is by all accounts a very exciting signing. And today I'm going to talk about what makes him so unique and so special as a winger. I've tried to get down to the stats, dig down into why Manchester City might have wanted him, so fingers crossed you find this very useful. So once again, like, subscribe, get yourself a brew and get ready for a little bit of a deep dive into Jeremy Doku. I can't wait to see this guy, by the way. I really can't. I think he's going to be a very special footballer, a very exciting one, the kind that you want to see as a football fan, the kind that gets you off your seat and gets you going. Fingers crossed as well, as I'm saying this, he's set for a debut against Sheffield United at the weekend. He could make the difference there. So let's dive into Jeremy Doku. Is that better? There we go. That's my bad. It wasn't because it's a new screen. I forgot to add the mic. We should be good now. We should be good now. Here we go. I know what happened there. I basically was editing this screen and forgot to go into it. Let's go into this little bit. So look at these stats. Look at these stats. They are absolutely ridiculous. They really are. There are a stupid level of stats here. And they speak for themselves, but I'll go through them one by one anyway, because they're very worth noticing. Only Vinicius Jr. and Messi have recorded more successful take-ons last season than Doku's 96 take-ons, which is obviously quite an insane amount. And this is in Europe's top 5 leagues. However, you've got to consider that both attempted considerably more as well. Vinicius attempted 348, which is nearly double Doku's 169, if not double. I think it's over double, about double bang on. And Messi 193. So the fact that he got so close to both of them is ridiculous. Nico Williams on there as well, and Lee Kangin. It's quite a stupid level of dribblings, man. It's ridiculous. I mean, this guy is a freakish talent. He is by far a more proficient dribbler than Vinicius Jr. And he's literally up there alongside Messi. Now, of course, this is obviously an older Messi, so we've got to be realistic here. You know, I've got to be honest. You know, it's like an older Messi. It's not the Messi, you know, of when he was younger, where, you know, when he was going past people for fun. So, but still, you cannot deny that this is a really special level of stats. And of course, if you look at his dribbles per 90 as well, so this is how many dribbles he averages per 90. And this is once again based on Euro's top 5 leagues for people who played only 900 minutes plus. Doku completed 6.8 dribbles per 90 since the start of last season. That is well ahead of second place Alan St-Maximin of 4.9. Alan St-Maximin, formerly of Newcastle, of course, was second place in Europe with 4.9. 6.8 is a quite ridiculous, nearly 50% increase on St-Maximin. He is easily the most proficient dribbler in Europe right now, and he's only 21 years old. This is a quite frightening level of statistical brilliance. It is. Like, this guy is, it's not unrealistic to say, this guy is sort of freakishly good. Like, that's the thing for me, which makes it sort of very special. Like, he is, you know, he's just better. Like, he's just better than the people at dribbling by a long way. And that, to me, is very special. But more than that, if you go into his carries as well. Now, of course, what progressive carries are is how much a player will carry the ball up the pitch. You probably can't read that text there, unfortunately. But I'll explain it for you a little bit clearer. So sorry if you can't. Basically, the progressive carries are... let me just find the exact wording. Progressive carries are carries defined as a player moving with the ball more than 5 meters upfield. And you can see there, this man likes to run with the ball. Doku was by far the most progressive carrier since the start of last season in Europe's top 5 leagues. 356 meters he averaged per 90. In second place was Ryan Cherki, the very gifted young French winger. Facundo Medina in 331 meters. Jack Grealish, a very own Jack Grealish, with 317. And Usman Dembele in fifth place there with 309. So this guy essentially is world class once again at carrying the ball up the pitch. When you've got a City side right now that are constantly looking at deep low blocks against him, if you can get a guy that can break at pace, when you get a chance to launch forward, this is absolutely crucial. This guy can turn defense into attack just like that at the click of a button, man. And that's so useful when you've got these low blocks, when you've got teams that are so pressed so aggressively. It's no coincidence that Guardiola really loved Jack Grealish last season, because he does this. He has an ability to move the ball up the pitch and progress it really nicely. As you can see there by the stats there, Doku can do it from any side, man. He really can. He can do it from the right-hand side. He can do it from the left-hand side. And this, to me, is what makes it really interesting. His positional awareness, man. It's very, very encouraging. And you think, well, where will he play? Where will he play? He would jump over once again to potential lineups. Can he play... Can he play on the right or left? Let's imagine a potential team here and work it together. We'll build it up there. You would think he was going to play on the right. You would. Let's just build a team very quickly together. Edison out here. This is not a chosen 11, but I'm just going to base it off recent teams. Vardy will be there at left back. Diaz over here. Stones, then one of Walker maybe, or a Kanji. I think it will be a Kanji for what it's worth. But either way, you've got that there. You've got, obviously, Rodri dipping a little bit deeper. Currently, we've got Kovacic sat alongside him. It could be that Nunes comes in, but it isn't right now. You've got Rodri and Kovacic there with Phil Foden here. Then, of course, let's say this is Bernardo Silva comes back into the team. And over here, you've got Erling Haaland. Then you've got, obviously, Jack over here. But could it be that actually, he's going to offer something a little bit different on this side? Could it be he's over here? You would expect every now and then that he is going to play on the right-hand side as well. Maybe he'll play here. With Bernardo occasionally in the team here as well, of course, instead of Phil Foden. Maybe Foden will come over here instead of Jack. But what we're going to see is Doku potentially playing on either side. And the stats, they pretty much back that up. They really do. When you see his average positions, if you go back over here, these are his average positions. You can see that this guy is... very much versatile. His most common position was 52% on the right side. Often played as a right winger at Rennes last season. But he can play on the left as well. He's very versatile on either side. He's played like 1% in central midfield. There you go, man. There you go. 14% as a left midfielder, 6% as a left winger. Mainly over on the right-hand side of the pitch, which is obviously, what you'd expect. But he can play there. We look at his progressive carries once again. You go back to this side, you see he can play on that side, and we've seen him do it. But right now, he seems like he might just be a right winger. The thing is, if you look at his carry distance, if you look at his average positions, you see it there. But it's also an interesting stat here. When you talk about his stats and you see actually Manchester City's best dribblers, it's interesting to me is that actually Cole Palmer is Manchester City's last season most proficient dribbler. He actually averaged 6 dribbles per 90 from 14 appearances with a success rate of 66%, which is really good, man. Grealish was second at Manchester City side with 3.5, which is nearly half, actually, with a success rate of 60%. If you go back to what Doku was managing, 6.8 dribbles per 90. A success rate of around, I can't remember what it was. I've lost it somewhere. What was it? I can't remember, but it's about 60-odd% as well. Go back over to here. Palmer, a proficient dribbler, but I would suspect that, every now and then we will see him on the right if he does stay. We will see Doku on the left. Either way, Doku is a much substantially better dribbler than both of these players. I do think in general, Now, of course, he's a little bit raw. He's a little bit raw, and we need to improve on that. But there's a tendency, and this is where it gets really interesting, to see Doku as a potential replacement for Mahrez or even for Jack Grealish. But I don't think he is. I actually think, and I've found the research that suggested this, he's actually, finally, we've got a Raheem Sterling replacement. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at these two analytical comparison maps here. You've got... this is crazy. This season here, on this side here, this is Raheem Sterling's season just before he signed for Manchester City Football Club. This was his Liverpool 13-14 season. I think he won Golden Boy with this season, actually. This was the season before he joined Man City. He was 20 years old at the time. And the season on the right over there is Jeremy Doku's season last year. If you look at those maps, which has chances created, has goals, shots, touches in opposition box, aerials won, possession won, defensive actions, touches, and dribbles attempted, it's almost identical. Like, Raheem Sterling is a 20-year-old before he joined Manchester City, and Jeremy Doku, those little circles there, they are nearly identical. It's pretty crazy that this guy is essentially the 20-year-old Raheem Sterling. And when you start to compare the stats down here, Sterling in 13-14 at Liverpool, Doku 2022. Doku had 7 goals and 5 assists from 35 appearances, but only 16 starts. Sterling had 10 goals and 6 assists, but 27 starts in all competitions. So Sterling a little bit better there, but of course considerably more game time. Both actually created 2.1 chances per 90. Sterling had an average touch of 61 touches to Doku's 62, essentially identical. Sterling won possession 6 times compared to Doku's 6.2, basically identical. Sterling actually scored 0.37 goals to Doku's 0.42, slightly better. Slightly better for Doku, but nearly identical once again, and both took around 1.8 shots per 90. Doku actually attempted 10.9 dribbles per 90 last season with a 62% success rate, where in the season before Sterling signed for City, he attempted 6.5 dribbles with a 58% rate. To me, what we got here is potentially a very young Sterling. Now, Sterling, of course, was a wonderful signing. It took Sterling a long time, of course, to find his goal, his threat in front of goal. But the encouraging thing for me is that Jeremy Doku is already showing signs of getting better. He really is. But it looks like we've actually got a Sterling replacement. Now, you can say what you want about Sterling's composure in front of goal, but I don't think Doku is quite the same that way. Sterling, of course, at one point was an excellent winger for Manchester City Football Club. I do agree, by the way, with Rowan. Please do like the video and subscribe if you are enjoying this kind of content. But I think that's fascinating, that actually Sterling and Doku, we've got a new young Raheem Sterling, and that to me is exciting because he was a golden boy. Of course, there are areas to improve. Doku's goal record, though, is improving. If you look at his record in 2021, he only averaged 2 league goals from an expected XG of 2.8, so he's a little bit low. But last season, impressively, from an XG of just 2.7, he scored 6 goals. That, to me, is genuinely really impressive. Someone's asked where I'm getting these stats from. These stats are all from Opta, so I found these all from Opta. They're not irrelevant. They show an example of who the player is. So these stats to me are interesting. I'm not saying they're everything, but they show an example of who could be. The fact that his goals, he got 2.7 XG and scored 6 goals last season, shows an improvement in front of goal from a 21-year-old. He does need work in front of assists, of course. In 2021, he got 3 goals. He assisted 3 goals from a XA of 4.7, so he could have had around 5 assists. And last season, 2 open play assists from, that's the typo there, 2 open play assists from XA of 4. So he's less than he should be, but at the same time, you've got to consider the Haaland factor. Assists are only as good as the people finishing the chances. So that, of course, will be really interesting. And I love this graphic here. This is fascinating. If you look at the last season of Jeremy Doku, who is he most similar to? It's crazy to say this, but statistically, these are the players he comes up similar as. Eden Hazard in the 2014-15 season. That's the top left one there. Very similar, 88% similar to Eden Hazard in the 2014 Chelsea season. 86% similar in the bottom left there to Eden Hazard at Chelsea in 12-13. 86% similar to Liverpool's Raheem Sterling in 2013-14. And 87% similar to Gianluca Capriari of Verona. Don't know much about him. But either way, he's in, and I hate to say it, he's in a steam company there. He really is. He's most similar to a young Eden Hazard and Raheem Sterling. Those stats to me are very telling because, of course, it is raw potential. Of course, it is raw potential. You do want to see a little bit more. You want to see him improve. But you cannot deny all these things. You cannot deny this output. You cannot deny this freakish ability. When you're the most proficient dribbler in Europe, that means something. Vinicius Jr. attempts twice as many dribbles. And of course, it's at a higher level. I'm not stupid, but only attempts 60. Only completes 16 more dribbles take-ons last season. Doku is freakishly good, absolutely freakishly good, and easily Europe's most proficient dribbler. It's very, very exciting, very, very exciting, and I can't wait to see how he comes. When you look at the team over here, when you look at tired teams, eventually Doku on this side, running down this side with his right foot, putting crosses for Haaland, or Doku over here, on this side, cutting in with potentially someone overlapping. That is really, really, really encouraging. Stats aren't everything, but they are very interesting. I tell you what means something to me, though, when you see quotes like this. Where is it? I absolutely love this. This quote from Thierry Henry. When you're one-on-one with him, there's only one thing left to do, pray. And Kylian Mbappe said as well, in 5 years as a professional, I've never seen someone from a standing start demonstrate so much power. Look, sometimes you got to recognize that game recognizes game. Like, this guy is a very, very, very exciting young player. Is there areas to improve? Yes. Does he need to improve his output in front of goal? Yes. Did Sterling? He did quite dramatically for what it's worth. He really did. He improved an awful lot, Sterling, I think he got something like 10 and 11 goals in his first couple of campaigns at Manchester City. Then all of a sudden, after a lot of work with Guardiola and coaches, he hit 23 in his third season. I don't understand, of course, how it's going to, I can't predict how it's going to go, but what I do know is there are a lot of lovely comparisons there, a lot of parallels there, and people getting annoyed about stats in the chat. Just grow up, is what I will say. Look, if stats aren't good enough for you, let's take the word of Kylian Mbappe and Thierry Henry and the judgment of Manchester City Football Club. He's 21 years old, he's lightning quick, and he's very, very, very interesting. I really like what I've seen here. And ask Rico Lewis how he feels about him in training too. Jeremy Doku could provide an absolute whole host of options for Manchester City Football Club. I can't wait to see how he adapts to this Manchester City side. I can't wait to see what he's going to bring. I've got to feed him when you're playing against really tired legs. Doku on this side, when the fact that, when he carries the ball this well, he's the most progressive carrier in European football. He carries an average 356 metres per 90. That's incredibly impressive. That creates trouble. That creates threats. And that, to me, is very, very, very exciting. City have signed this player because, for one, he's very talented. Two, he's freakishly unique. And three, we need a different profile out wide. And there's not many more different profiles than Jeremy Doku. Of course, there are concerns. Of course, he needs to up his XG and his XA. And of course, as well, there are injury concerns that come with a young player as explosive as he is. But when you see the comparisons and you see a man, the most likely seasons are young Eden Hazard seasons and Sterling seasons. That, to me, is exciting. It's very exciting, and you should be moved by that, and you should be excited by that. I can't wait to see how it develops. Guardiola is the best finishing school in world football, and fingers crossed this could be the place for him. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different from my channel. I have run out of stats there, but I wanted to talk about the analysis behind it, man. I wanted to talk about why I'm excited about this guy, because the stats do show a very interesting picture. Thank you to Opta for the stats, by the way. I found an article, and I thought I'd break it down and talk to you guys about it and talk about what he's going to bring to Manchester City. And I think he could be things very special. If you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know down in the comments below. Of course, subscribe to the channel. I've just reached 68,000, which is massively appreciated. 161 people currently watching and 52 likes. But I will be doing loads of different types of player videos on the channel this year. Players? Hopefully I'll do different types of players. Hopefully I'll be doing something similar to Mateus Nunes as well if he comes in. Or maybe Eze, I don't know. But we're going to see what this little wonder kid, this Belgian Flash, this electric winger is going to do in a City shirt. For now, though, thank you for watching this. Go watch my opposition preview from this morning if you want more content. Of course, as well, there'll be the reaction video from yesterday. You can go watch that. And, of course, there'll be a preview live tomorrow morning at some point. For now, you're superstars. I love you all loads. I'm trying my best here to try some new things. I think he's going to be really good. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you all in a bit. Good night.